Welcome to the Community Spotlight podcast. It's hard for me to say because, years ago, folks, I used to do the Spotlight program here. But it's the Community Spotlight podcast. And my guest today is Scott Painter. Welcome, Scott.
Thank you.
Scott Painter is representing the Bucyrus Little Theatre. And he's here today because he is the director of the current show that's going to be out. Which is entitled Misery, which many of you may remember the movie. I believe it had, who was in that? Kathy Bates and Lauren Bacall, I believe, was in that movie.
No,
it wasn't her?
I cannot remember the male lead. But, it's a movie everyone remembers if you've seen it.
Yes.
And I would mention this is not the movie.
It's not a movie.
It's a stage play. If you have a movie, you have months even to put on a production. We have 8 weeks.
Yeah.
And we rehearse 3 times a week, and we have very competent stage crew who help manage. My wife has designed the set. Tom Etzinger is a set builder. He's been around for as many years as I have been. I've been around Bucyrus Community Theater 30-plus years, and took a step back a couple of years ago and did a show in Columbus, and then I realized I missed Bucyrus, so I came back here. And I just want to be part of a well-rounded season, which Misery is.
Yes, in the season that they're having, or we've got other ones coming,
right?
Productions coming. But I guess the best way to say is, if you're expecting the movie, it's not. It's an adaptation.
Correct.
From the Stephen King novel.
There's a look back at the novel as well.
Yes.
But again, they have hundreds of pages to develop a show, and we have a short amount of time.
So there's a lot to this, a lot that goes into a production, and I know you've had over 30 years of experience in that. And I'm going to digress just for one moment. I was going to ask you, do you have a favorite director over the years that's kind of given you a template of kind of what your style is?
Well, Helen Neff, I don't know. Most people would remember Helen.
Yes,
she was a staunch BLT director and patron, and she brought me into the theater all those years ago, and so I kind of pay homage to her, have for the years that she's taught me a lot about theater, how to stage a production, how important it is to be a vital part of the community, to keep trying to draw new people in. So we have, if you have a well-rounded season, you have a kids show that it has an appeal. It brings in parents and aunts and grandmas. And then sometimes you introduce a comedy. Other times it's a drama, which has always been my forte. But now we step into this psychological thriller of Misery, which is a lot of fun.
All right. Now let's speak, first of all, Misery. I guess I would say on this particular one, because I did notice on that, it does contain mature language and themes, so there is some parental discretion probably advised.
Yes, I would exercise some. There's not a lot, but there is some, and it may be offensive to young kids or to their parents. So that's it's just a warning that there is some adult language.
Yes, I know. In the what we released here as a news release, that was in as part of that. Can you guys basically do a brief synopsis about what Misery is about for somebody that doesn't know anything about it?
Sure. It follows Paul Sheldon, who's a romance novelist, very successful, and then he has a #1 fan, who is Annie Wilkes. And we watch her progress from being the #1 fan into being a bipolar who just through the course of the show, the 90-minute show, into mental madness. And you've got Paul, who's just doing everything he can to escape what appears to be his certain demise. So that's pretty much it.
That's pretty much in a nutshell what it is. Now, the dates of the performance and by the way, this is at the Bucyrus Little Theatre. It's located in Bucyrus, Ohio, 130 Songer Avenue. If you're interested in this, I know they've got 7:30 evening performances and I believe 2 matinees. And I see October 7th at 7:30 in the evening is one performance.
That's our opening night.
Okay. Sunday, October 8th is a matinee at 2:30. Friday, October 13th at 7:30 in the evening. Saturday, October 14th at 7:30 in the evening. And then a Sunday, October 15th matinee at 2:30 in the afternoon.
Yes.
Now,
When we put the schedule together, we offer one Friday night and a couple Saturdays. You're trying to avoid the Ohio State schedule and local high school stuff on Friday night.
Yes.
So trying to get an offering date for everybody.
Well, what's also nice is you have 2:30 matinees.
Yes.
I'm well, I should say a little more seasoned. I don't like to say senior, a seasoned citizen.
Sure.
So sometimes I'm not real crazy about being out much real late.
Right, I know.
So 2:30 in the afternoon, it's a lovely time for some of us. Now I see that they're priced at $15 for adults, $10 for students, and all of this, I take it, if you want tickets, you need to book this. Is it all online?
I believe it's all online. I'm not so involved with that anymore, but...
Okay. Well, this is what I have down here. It says Bucyrus. You go to BucyrusLittleTheatre.com. It says tickets may be purchased online, BucyrusLittleTheatre.com. And then I would just say, if you got any other questions about it, can they just call the Little Theater box office?
Yes.
I believe that's what this would be, 419-562-0731.
That's correct.
Okay, and I'll repeat that again, 419-562-0731 for additional information. But to purchase, I believe you need to purchase online. But again, you can always call that phone number, and I'm sure if you need tickets, we'll get you tickets. It's like anything else. But it's BucyrusLittleTheatre.com, and you can buy your tickets through that mode, we shall say.
I think the theater is also trying to. They have a subscription campaign for renewing memberships.
Very good point.
So you may want to, again, maybe if you have questions, call the theater. Yes,
I think that's also very good. Like you said, they have a subscription season. They normally do, what, 5 a year?
Four, and then sometimes they come along with a summer kids show. But this year I think there are 4 planned.
All right, so that's what their season is, so usually 4 a year. I'm just trying to think of anything else that we haven't covered this morning. I think we pretty much covered it, Scott.
Well, thank you.
Thank you.
I'm looking forward to it. We have 3 weeks to go. We're in the midst of hanging lights at the moment in time, and then we develop a soundtrack. And I've been surrounded by good friends who I've worked with for many, many years, and that's a joy. That's a joy to come back. Yeah.
I would ask you one other thing on this, because again, I would say a director has to bring the best out of the performers.
Sure.
How do you do that?
Well, it's not. We're all amateurs.
Yes.
We learn and observe from people around us, events around us, and I had a conversation yesterday about stage movement, and you move on stage as you would in real life. So just take time, pretend this is, well, not only pretend, but this is the first conversation you've had with an actor who you're playing against. So, there's a whole process of learning lines, and then you develop a speed. You're trying to remember everything, and you're trying to remember the blocking. The director tells you to go here on this line. Follow your body, follow your instincts, and it'll work out. So.
Well, and it's kind of interesting because in a way what we're doing right now, which is for this podcast, you and I have never met before.
Correct.
So it's kind of I always say a work in progress, but
it's working, isn't it?
But yes, it does. It does work. Yeah. Hey, I want to thank you, Scott Painter. It's been a joy to have you come in this morning for the podcast. And again, we're talking about the production of Misery at the Bucyrus Little Theatre. If you have further information, I'll give you a number, but then again, if you're going to, I believe, book tickets, you need to go online. The phone number at the Little Theater is 419-562-0731. They're located at 130 Songer Avenue in Bucyrus. If you purchase tickets, I believe it's $15 for adults, $10 for students. You can find out all those things by going to BucyrusLittleTheatre.com, and they should have the answers. And like we said before, there are 3 evening performances, and I see, my count is correct, 2 matinees. So they will all be posted. And if you say I missed all that, re-listen to the podcast.
Could I also mention briefly that
anything you'd like?
We have a sponsor for this show.
Okay.
There are sponsors for the season, but sometimes they pick a particular show they want to sponsor. Spring Capital Management is the sponsor for this show.
I know that guy too.
Sure,
I've interviewed
Jim.
him before. Yeah.
Absolutely.
So we have fun. We don't mind that. Thank you. Thanks, Scott, for coming in. Thanks for mentioning that.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Yep.